Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning. We are kicking off week 43 with John chapter 6 this morning, and an incredibly lengthy chapter, so we can't possibly hit everything. It starts out with his John sharing the fourth and fifth sign of the seven that he will share in this book, and it's Jesus feeding the 5,000, and then Jesus walking on water. And I think what we're seeing here is we see a large crowd gathering, a large crowd starting to find or follow Jesus. Jesus gets away with his disciples, and the people come, and he's going to feed them. And we don't see how he does this. It doesn't even say in this, in John, that he even speaks any words to the bread and fish, but he just he distributes the food, has the disciples pick up the leftovers, and then withdraws again. And that's kind of a common theme we see throughout the Gospels, of Jesus withdrawing and having times of quiet and solitude. And then Jesus walks on water. The disciples leave to head across the sea, and Jesus walks on water, says, "Do not be afraid." And then we have a lengthy section on his first I am statement. There are 7 I am statements in the book of John as well, and I think the I am statements really point to God saying, when Moses had the burning bush experience, and Moses asked God, who will you say, or if they ask me who you are, and he says, I just tell them that I am. And I think Jesus is using these I am statements to really stress that he and God are the same, that he is God, and talks about this bread of life. I am the bread of life, and spends pretty much a lot talking about I've come to do the will of him who sent me, and this is the will of my Father, that everyone who looks on the Son and believes in him shall have eternal life. So that's we see that also in verse 29, that if you believe in him who's been sent. So this concept of belief we see throughout. And Jesus, then talks about you must eat my flesh and drink my blood. And that's really a difficult thing to understand. Some people believe it foreshadows communion, which it very well could. Others would say, hey, this Jesus is just saying it's a total commitment, that you must totally understand and buy in, and it's a figurative thing. So we don't really know, but it certainly, could be aspects of both, that to really believe, and we need to buy into who Jesus is. And then it ends with people starting to not follow Jesus. That in verse 66, many of the disciples turned back and no longer walked with him. And so we're seeing a little bit of division occurring, people unwilling to pay the price to follow Jesus. And he says to to the 12, do you want to go away as well? And Simon Peter says, Lord, to whom shall we go? You have the words of eternal life, and we have believed and have come to know that you are the Holy One of God. And Jesus answers, did I not choose you, the 12, and yet one of you is a devil? He spoke of Judas, the son of Simon Iscariot, for he, one of the 12, was going to betray him. So John is laying some of the groundwork for the crucifixion and the betrayal of Jesus that'll happen at the end of his gospel. So we see large crowds following. We see some signs. We see Jesus' statement, I am the bread of life. Jesus calling people to total commitment, and that people are unwilling to follow. The disciples, though, are saying they will follow, that Jesus has the words of eternal life. Who else could we possibly follow? And belief, again, this concept of belief. So, a lot there. Let me know if what stood out to you in this chapter, and we'll see you on here tomorrow with John chapter 7. And have a great day. God bless.